Hi, Denise. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Good to see you again.
Yes, absolutely. So,
Awesome.
do we
Well,
have a
well,
lot,
sorry, go ahead.
do we have a lot of people in the class?
I don't know. I don't see the RSVPs, only the Do Space team does.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, but since you've been with me before, we can get started. What would you like to work on today?
Well, I put a note in. I didn't know if you'd see the note when I did that. I have a question. I'm using ChatGPT
Mm,
to do some stuff because I signed up for that Kajabi. That
okay,
was the very first class I was on with you. Um,
awesome.
but so I signed up for that, but I was finding it a little clunky in how to get around in it. So I was hoping that if there if but I was using Chat GPT to kind of come up with some of my different sections or whatnot. So depending on who all we have, I don't know, or I don't want to take it off track either. But
No,
um,
perfect. I appreciate that. You sort of know my deal, right? So it's like we'll work on whatever I can help you with during our time together.
yes, absolutely.
There's no one here yet for the ChatGPT stuff. So if you want to pull up anything that you want to show me, either ChatGPT or the Kajabi side, and then if and when someone else shows up, I can help them with ChatGPT stuff. So I'm happy to help you.
Sure. Okay, great. Well, my first question is really has to do with when I signed up for it, they told me I asked the question, I said, now can I run live workshops? And they told me yes, but I didn't really see where to set up a live workshop. Can you tell me from the settings what what's
I see. You know what? I'm not familiar with that on Kajabi. I don't do anything live inside Kajabi. I do everything on Zoom.
well, but okay, but it's Zoom. I don't mean I that's Zoom is live, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want. I want to set up some classes that people can attend on Zoom
All right.
through Kajabi.
Here,
So that, but I don't know how to set it up.
yeah, let me give you access so you can show me your screen, and then we
Okay,
can go on the back end, and then we can see what we can figure
yeah,
out.
I'm gonna grab my Kajabi link.
All righty.
Uh, while you're doing that, while you're giving me access, I'm gonna go into my Kajabi. Uh, no, there. So now, but and when you're on using Zoom for Kajabi, it's still it's a live event that people have signed up for. You're just doing it through Zoom, right?
Yeah, before I answer your questions, I don't want to
Okay.
I don't want to give you the wrong answer before I can see what you mean.
Okay.
I need to be able to see. And you're talking about Kajabi, not Calendly, right?
Right. Kajabi.
Okay.
Right. I did want to tell you that on the, okay, now it wants me to sign in. Okay. Okay. And then as soon as that comes up, I'll share. Okay. Share that one. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I did it was the package that I did was like 3 months for $99. So so there's courses, there's coaching, there's community, and there's podcast. So if I were to go set something up that is going to be a live on Zoom thing that people can sign up for, and this first one I'm going to do free. So, but I eventually will do some that are paid.
Okay.
But how do I set that up?
So are you trying to set up a course first?
Well, what I was setting up was through Zoom, a live discussion. So I was going to invite people to chat about something, and then I have some content that I'm going to share as well. But it was going to be basically a live event through Zoom. And then with Kajabi, I want to be able to also set up some communities for these people that attend, that they can sign up for groups that are relevant to them. Like almost like, I think they call that membership. So community memberships. I want to do that too, but we'll have some courses and private consulting that come out of these live events. So people who are interested in taking it deeper.
Okay, I think I'm missing some key elements. So walk me through from the beginning to end your plan.
My plan is to host a live workshop.
Yes.
Where I invite different of my connections in the contact center community to discuss a topic. So I have like a topic.
Is that happening on Zoom?
It's going to happen on Zoom.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so that's going to happen on Zoom. And then as part of that, the registration process, I want them to tell me their name, their email, their like a pain point, similar to like how you can do in Calendly, but to register for either a community that will have routine events and or be able to access content. So I want to use it as this open, see how the session goes. And if they want some private sessions that's more specific to just them, not a group community, that I can do that on the side or set up something else private for them. So there's open innovation, and then and talking about, you know, community challenge or industry challenges. And then there's some private consultation that'll come after if they're interested.
So you're trying to get them into the community instead of like a free Facebook group. This is all free to build up lead gen.
It's lead, yeah, it's lead gen, like an introductory group, and then invitation to a community, and then there'll be more sessions and content down the line.
Okay, so you don't need the course yet. What you want to build is the community first. Is that what you're saying? So you don't want them, or do you want to give them access as soon as they sign up, or maybe after the first session with you on Zoom, to give them access to a free course with a few modules in there?
Perhaps, yeah. Or maybe that's where I put the like a recording of the live event, for because I can do that too, right? I can record the Zoom event and then post that in there for future future ideation, and give them free access to that where they can get to that.
Perfect. So let's see,
Yeah.
I'm pulling up my dashboard, and Kajabi has changed a lot over the last couple of months. They just completely redid their dashboard and their interface. So I'm looking over here. Let's see. Okay. So under community. So I've never built a community inside Kajabi, so I'm not an expert on that. But if you're down for it, we can figure it out together.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's that, and then, but don't they register for the event through Kajabi?
Not necessarily. In fact, Kajabi is kind of one of the worst ones to do that, to be honest. If you want someone to register for an event, I recommend either Calendly or directly via Zoom. Because you can ask questions via Zoom, or have them register through a Google form, and then you send everyone a Zoom link. So I know that's like, it depends on how easy and functional you want to make it for them. Kajabi is not really the best at registration side. Their landing pages are a little bit clunky. Can you do it? Yeah. That's not, it's not really how I do it or how I even have my clients set things up, because
Okay, do
Kajabi is
you,
great at housing a course. They're learning how to do some other stuff a little bit better.
okay, so do you run live events on Kajabi?
I do not on Kajabi. All my live events are run on Zoom. And then when people pay and register, then I give them access to a course. So then I put their email address so that they can have access to all of my courses.
Okay, but can they pay via Zoom?
So you have to have a separate checkout. How do people currently pay you?
Well, this is a new channel for me because
Okay.
currently when I have it via retainer or contract or something different. I'm trying to do something a little bit different by having events that I do be a lead gen for consulting, but there's also some of the workshops I want to be paid and some to be just lead gen. So I'm trying to do a combination. I thought Kajabi was going to be my answer, and then ChatGPT to help me like proofread and do the, some of my hooks and that type of thing. So,
Yeah, so let me show you something. So on that dashboard, you see where it says in the middle, it says explore products, and like in the
yeah,
middle, right below that says connect payments.
okay,
Okay, so go ahead and click on that. So just so you can see what happens next, set up your
okay,
payment. You don't have to set anything up right now.
okay. So come down here and set up payments.
Yeah. Because Kajabi has a lot of integrations and they use Stripe or PayPal. I do not recommend PayPal, but I do recommend Stripe. Stripe is free to use. They take a percentage of every sale on there, but it doesn't cost you anything to use it. So it's the
Okay,
fee, right? So
yeah,
if you see here it says connect to Kajabi payments. So Kajabi does not have its own payment platform. So you can't pay you can't use Kajabi for people to pay you. You can connect something that you already have set up. So you see that there it's Apple Pay, Afterpay, Google Pay, Visa, or MasterCard, but it looks like get started with Kajabi payments. Kajabi actually just added this, so this is newer. Kajabi to offer customers even more. So if you want to go ahead and click on that, Kajabi could be I personally use Stripe and have for many years. Most of the people I use, whoa. Oh, remember you have the virus, my friend.
well, but I had somebody come in and look and he told me I don't have a virus. It
Yeah, you
just,
do.
okay.
You
Because I
do.
had a IT guy come and check me out and he says, no, you don't have a virus.
Oh,
Okay,
he's lying. I can tell
okay,
you do, because those windows should not be popping up at all. Just
okay,
because you can't find it doesn't mean it's not there.
okay,
Um, okay, so Kajabi it says powered by Stripe. Perfect. So Stripe looks like they have partnered with Kajabi to create this integration. So this is awesome. Okay. So you would need to go through this process. And we would need to do it offline because you have to put in information on there like
oh,
your
yeah,
name,
yeah,
a bunch of personal info, right? We don't want recorded here publicly.
okay,
But I definitely recommend this setup because you need to set up your payment account first in order to be able to have people either register for something, even if it's free.
okay,
Um, and then also if you want people to pay for stuff. But there's no such thing as live events on Kajabi. And
really,
maybe there are. Maybe they have new systems and setups. I just don't really use them for that. For me, I just use Kajabi as a place where I house my course. It's got lots of other things. It's not in my world, in the super high level marketing stuff, Kajabi is very limited in its use. So I use other things like ClickFunnels and Go High Level and other
okay,
things. So Kajabi is just a really quick way of putting up a course, and it's very user friendly.
okay,
Like
okay,
people don't reach out to you, be like, I don't get it. Where do I go next? And that's why that's all it used to be when it started like a decade ago. It has now been turned into like more of an all-encompassing marketing platform.
okay,
But yeah, I recommend you got to start off with the payment stuff first. And while you do that, you can go through as much as you want on there. I can look up more around like registration. You can have, oh, look, under marketing, they have events and forms. So this is probably where we want people to use your registration stuff.
Okay.
We probably want events.
Okay. Are you going to be doing another Kajabi class?
I don't know. It all depends on what people are asking for, and I don't select the classes. I give Do Space a list of 15, and then they pick depending on what people are asking for.
Okay. Got it. I hope our other person that jumped in didn't leave because we weren't talking about ChatGPT. I feel bad if that's the case.
No, did someone come in?
I thought someone came in, but then they left.
Oh, well, if
That's
they
what,
did.
that's why I mentioned ChatGPT because I wanted to make sure he knew he was in the right place.
Oh, no worries. If I missed them if they did come in.
Okay. All right.
No worries. We can make this about Kajabi. I have our allotted time, so I'd rather help you with that because it's also today's session is sort of like general ChatGPT stuff. And actually, before I forget, I looked up. There's this really great article that Hootsuite put together with 65 marketing prompts for small businesses that I'm going to link in here for you,
Perfect.
so that you can have that as a resource because it's got a lot of really good stuff in there, and walks you through how to do that. Since you're already more familiar with ChatGPT, you'll
Well,
understand.
yeah, I'm going to click on that and download that because one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I put together a post
Mhm.
that'll go out. I was thinking this week, but it sounds like maybe I don't even need to have. Well, I guess I don't even know on Zoom how to 65 prompts for marketers. I guess I don't even know on Zoom how to have somebody pay. I mean, this first one's free anyway, but I want them to register as well. So maybe I need to go research that.
That's what I wanted to show you in here. So there are a couple different ways. Let me show you. So I went on the marketing tab. So I clicked in here. Okay.
Okay.
So they
And
have
this
events.
is in Zoom.
This is Kajabi.
Kajabi. Okay, got it.
Let me go back here for a second. I got lost it. Okay. So yeah, people can't pay on Zoom. Like there's no transaction on Zoom.
Okay.
Um, or like forms to fill out and stuff like that. That it's not set up that way.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
didn't think so.
On Kajabi, if you go into the marketing side and you go into events, as you can see, I've never created one. That's because this is kind of like on the newer side. So they have events and they have forms. I don't know what their forms look like either. Form, you can create a new form. We're gonna go into events because you're gonna have an event, right? So you're kind of like running like in a webinar. Is that sort of like webinar masterclass?
Yeah, it's kind of like a webinar, right?
Okay, great. So we'll go into if you want to go ahead and do you want me to do this on my side? Do you want to do it on yours? And I just
No, if you go ahead and do it on yours, that's
okay.
fine. I can follow. I've got
Okay, so we're gonna do
like
test event.
tests.
So we're gonna do 417. We're gonna pretend like it's happening today at 6 p.m. Okay, stop. Time zone. Sure, we'll keep the central time, and says you can always repeat that event and then do the recurrence and the interval there. We're just gonna say it's a one time for now, so we're gonna do save. Okay. So now it's asking us for event action. So automation help you set up repeating tasks, streamline workflows with just a few clicks. I'm not the expert on automations, but those can be really cool. So let's see, event actions. Okay, so now registrations. Let's go in here. Looks like this event does not have any registrations yet. Once your customers register for the event, they will appear here. Okay, now we need to know how they actually register, right? Because we don't really know
Yeah,
that.
how do they register?
So,
Yeah.
no actions after event. So add email. What does this mean? So please select time orientation. This is what I mean about sometimes Kajabi sometimes make things more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, that's what I jumped in. I'm going, oh man, this looks harder than I thought it was going to be. So then
Yeah.
I wanted your expertise and
Yeah, no,
Okay,
Kajabi is amazing for building courses, which is why I said Kajabi to build the course, like that initial one. Anything else, they're still working on.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I would probably recommend people register in another way. So they can either register directly on Zoom. Have you ever tried to run a Zoom event?
I've run Zoom events, but I wasn't the one who set up the registration. So
Okay.
I mean, I could reach out to another person, but it's like, because it was like a reg link and she created like a landing page on a website that I think that directed them and then they filled it out. And then all she would, because I would do the social media part, but she would do the reg link. And I think she was doing that on a website instead of, and that's why I thought that the reg could be through Kajabi, but the link that people would get would be in Zoom. But
So let me save this for now and see if it lets me move forward and do some more stuff with it. Okay, so event updated successfully, but it's like, well, okay, so test event, April. So now what? Like I have no idea where's the link for people to register. Says registrations, but how do people register? This is what I mean about like Kajabi is not really good at this stuff. So honestly, I wouldn't kind of mess with Kajabi on that front. Um,
okay,
Make your life easier. Do you ever use Google Forms?
I do use Google Forms. So I could add a link to a Google form that they could create a Google form that they could register.
Right. So it's just kind of like an RSVP page. Here's a template, right? So you can set up whatever image you want over here. And then the event RSVP, you put in whatever information they want. You can put the Zoom link in there as well. And also then you send them an email manually with the Zoom information or a Google Calendar invite. And then this is where you can ask them the questions, right? Because you said you wanted to ask them some questions.
Right. I want to make sure I'm doing lead gen, capturing their email. I want their company name. I want what is your biggest pain point type thing. And then that's probably all that I'll do. And then is there any other questions you'd like to make sure are addressed during the event or whatever?
Yeah. And honestly,
But
I would use Google Form. I can tell you right now for an absolute fact that I work directly with a marketing company that is making 100 million a year in revenue, and they still use Google Forms for
okay.
capturing that kind of data. It's it's so like, and they have the money and the resources to use all the fancy stuff, but sometimes the fancy stuff gets in the way. So
Okay.
the only two things I would recommend would either be Google Forms, or have you ever used the Typeform?
Type. No.
Yeah, so Typeforms are really cool. I don't know if they're free anymore. They used to be. Get started, it's free. But Google Forms, you know for a fact, are free. There is one caveat that I always like, you can get the registration wrong if if you're using your business address. So if you want to sort of test this out, so if you're using a random normal at gmail.com, on the responses and the settings, people can fill it out. But what you don't want it to do is when you send this out, you don't want it to be like they can't fill it out because they need your permission, right? So if it's a business domain, there's something in the settings that you need to change that doesn't show up on here, but I can show you that.
Okay.
So for what you're trying to do, that initial step, I do not recommend Kajabi.
Okay. All right. That works. That works.
But once
Um,
you have them in your world, then you want to put them in here. And then this is where you can add contacts, right? So once you start adding contacts, because I'm recording this, I'm not going to go into my contacts because that's private
no, no, no.
information.
I don't want you to. That's fine.
Yeah, I would show you. I just, since it's recording, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had podcast section, to be honest. Like that's,
Yeah. I think that's new because
yeah.
when I was first checking them out, I think that's new.
Yeah. And like, I've never played with the community before. And so many people are trying to get off of Facebook groups. So there are a lot of different companies there's like Circle that has a community, there's like all these other places. So it's starting to get a little confusing because everybody has their own thing. But for the
Yeah,
registration, I recommend Google Forms. And then once they've registered, then you do have to manually send them out an email, or not necessarily. You can put it into, do you have a place where you have all of your emails so far, or are you using MailChimp, HubSpot, anything like that?
I'm not using either of those yet.
Okay.
I mean, I have because a lot of the audience, because I'm going to put it on LinkedIn
Mhm.
as far as where like inviting them, and that's where my social stuff will be. There'll be some people that I invite personally from my personal network as well. But and again, this is a first run. I'm planning on doing stuff more frequently. But I like the idea of, I mean, I just signed up for the Kajabi now. I almost wish I'd waited, but I was afraid that the deal was going to go away. So I wanted to get in on that. But I do like the idea of creating communities and checking that out so they, can uh, have access to things, and then also to place the recordings for future reference. Because
Yes.
really, I'm thinking more of a lead gen type thing. Um, and then being able to attach courses on LinkedIn. Have you ever done like a LinkedIn live event? A live
Uh,
event on
no,
LinkedIn?
no, I don't run LinkedIn Lives. A lot of my clients and friends do though.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I checked into that, but that looked confusing as well. And I
Did
think
it?
you and I think you still need Zoom or something. And I don't know how you would accept payments through that. I think it's all just going to be just marketing. I don't know. So I'm still navigating all this stuff. For Chat GPT, I don't want to take us too far off of what your intended thing was. Um, I, well, I use Canva to create kind of a graphic that
Okay,
had like that. Here, let me go back to share again
perfect.
and show you what I have on my calendar here that I'm planning. Okay, so this is my, I don't know if it's going to go this week or next week, but so I created this in Canva.
Perfect.
So sales call volume drying up or shifting. It's time to rewrite the playbook. That was kind of my hook. And
Mhm.
then the copy that I grabbed or did I wrote my own, and then I went into Chat GPT and said, okay, proof this and give me another suggestion.
Mhm.
And then they did, which I think I liked, but then I tweaked it still because I didn't have the date or time of when it's going to be in there. So can you read that, or do I need to make it bigger?
No, I can see it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect.
So that's kind of what I was going to do to get people to register, but I need to create the live link and get that going and stuff too. So
So here's the best part is that you actually don't need to create a live link. You just need them to register, right? So the
oh,
registration through the Google form. It doesn't need to be a live link. So it's a live link, but not for them to go straight to the live.
it's a reg link,
Right.
not a
Yeah. It's
live
just a
link.
reg link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
reg.
Good point. Because like
Because
that's what I meant by
you also
adding.
want to make sure that those that are filling it out are qualified. And maybe someone in there, like, you don't really want to send them the Zoom link.
Right.
So
I don't want to post the Zoom link. That's not what I'm looking to do. I want them to register to make sure they fit the category.
exactly. And that's where the RSVP on the Google Forms is going to work. If you want, we can work on your form right now and we can finish up your registration right now.
Is that too far out of bounds from what the
No,
intended
absolutely not.
course was?
I'm here for our allotted time. So as long as I can help you with this, no one has joined for ChatGPT in general marketing. So like I'm here to support
Okay.
you.
Okay. So if I go to my,
Thank you for asking.
okay. Yeah, I want to be considerate of your time and others' time. So if anybody else comes in, we can shift gears. Okay. I'm Come on. Okay. Um, of course I have to name it.
And you can literally copy and paste what you are putting on social into there.
Yeah, let me go back.
Yeah, you
It's right.
actually want it to be,
As close to that as possible.
yeah. So I would probably make the text that you have on the graphic, the title,
Title.
at least that first question, sales call, and then
Yeah.
and actually let's use ChatGPT to give us a headline for a masterclass, right? Because what are you inviting them to? What is this called? What do they sign up for?
Really what this is for contact center professionals and probably hospitality contact center professionals who have noticed a decline in their sales call volume and or it's shifting channels because they're operating the sales for their brand of hotels and they have a certain number of people it takes to do that and they've been noticing a drop. So they want to compare notes with their peers. And then I want to walk them through what to do in this downturn to come out ahead. So repurposing the time, if people aren't taking calls, then they need to use that time for upskilling. They need to, one, they need to make sure that it's for a good reason, like it's being handled by self-service instead of others. So let's see, let me go to
I'm gonna type something in the form here and
Chat
let me
GPT.
know.
You're
Um
putting it into chat.
into chat, yeah. So here's my suggestion: sales call volume drying up.
Okay.
Or-
Oh no, there it is.
Okay, so here's my initial stab at it, and this is what we can put into ChatGPT, right? So my initial stab that I put in the chat is for the form title, because this is people can see this. So the one on the top, only you can see on the top left-hand corner, but what you put on the form, people can actually see. So use the form as your landing page. Pretend like this is your website landing page. Okay, so we're gonna make
Okay.
it free. Okay. So this is where people get all caught up like, oh, I don't have a website, I don't have a landing page. Yeah, Google form is your landing page. I built up my business to $500,000 in revenue with auto website, just using Google Forms. I'm a huge fan of Google Forms. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
pretend that this is a landing page, right? So here's my first stab at it, and we can put this into ChatGPT, is sales call volume drying up, question mark. Join us for Rewrite the Playbook Masterclass, right? Because you want to call it something. You don't want to call it a webinar, it's a masterclass. So yeah, people are going to share some notes, but really you want them to see you as an expert. You don't
Right.
want to open this up too much to panel discussion. You want to sort of guide them down the path of like, hey, you're all experiencing X, Y, and Z, right? And they're like, yeah, yeah. You're like, awesome. Well, I have the blueprint that you want.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
rules of the game have changed, and I have the playbook.
Gotcha. Okay. So please create a title, sales call volume drying up. Join us for a rewrite the playbook masterclass. Is that what I do?
Sure, let's try that out. See what it gives us.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I see. Because it's saying, because we're telling it to create the title. So I would probably tell it to
Okay.
rewrite that sentence to an engaging title. or an engaging hook, whatever that is, right? Maybe we need to give it more because it's very constricted already. Engaging hook.
Okay. It might be getting confused because I did, where was it? Bunch yesterday on a similar thing. So here I was asking for a hook, a response, a pain point, disruptive insight, all on that topic.
Mhm.
So navigating the sales call drought, strategies for thriving in a low volume environment, explore innovative approaches to maintaining sales momentum and drive business. Pain point, the pain point from the customer was faced with a sudden and significant decrease in sales volume, struggling to meet revenue targets and sustain business operations. Disruptive insight, call sales drying up. It's time to rewrite the playbook and seize opportunities and mix the drought. Discover game-changing strategies to thrive in a low volume environment. Okay.
That disruptive insight, everything other than the hashtags, is a perfect description for your form.
Okay. And then go back to my form.
At least
Here.
that's my suggestion. We want the title to be a little bit more short and sweet, right? So we want the title to be, I'll let you paste that.
Okay. So description would be sales volume drying up. It's time to rewrite the playbook and seize opportunities to amidst the drought, discover game-changing strategies to thrive in a low volume environment and emerge stronger than ever. So,
Yes.
but the
So in the
title,
title, we want it to be who is this for? Give me the title of the person who is a decision maker that you want on this call.
it's contact center, travel contact center directors.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's start sort of playing around with that. I'm going to put that here in chat just so I don't remember. So travel contact center directors. Right. So I think it's really a really good hook is like sales so their pain point is that the sales calls are drying up. Okay. What is the intended solution? What do they want? What do they want fixed?
But okay, the fixes are one, verify that it's not, it's shifting to a self-service channel or a lower cost channel. So you need to verify that first. Because
Sorry, hold on. Let me rephrase. So not the how, but the end result, right? So if the sales calls volume drying up, it's causing losses in the business. So what do they want, right? When we say discover game-changing strategies to thrive in a low volume environment. So if they don't want low sales volume, what do they want?
They want efficiency because if they have a workforce that is not taking sales calls, okay, there's a couple things. Not taking sales calls, they want them efficiently doing something. So you take that extra time of not taking those calls and upskill them, cross-train them on other segments in the business, but don't have that wasted payroll of people ready and available to take sales calls if they aren't coming. You need to take that workforce resource and reutilize them to be able to do something different. And with AI and all that there's different tools that are coming that they could start upskilling them and getting them comfortable with. They could cross-train them, work on their career development. So there's that piece of it. But then there's also they can stop their hiring practices. So don't keep hiring at your same pace. and take the opportunity of this downturn and lower volume to do some other high impactful things in the interim or whatever, because it may not come back. If AI is starting to take more things, at the self-service programs are working better, people going to the website, it's just the contact center world is changing. So you need to recognize the signs and adapt, because it may never come back to the sales goals they were before. The other thing they want to do is they want to re-engineer their pay scale, because if their incentives are based on sales, that the agents don't have the ability to make sales, if the sales goals are too high based off of the call mix that they get, if they're more customer service based, then you have to upskill them on how to handle these high touch customer service calls instead of selling hotel rooms. There's, it's the call mix, the call blend, all of those things have to occur, and it can occur. But if you just sit there and wait for your call volume to come back and scratch your head, and it's not going to happen. There's just actions that have to happen in order to not lose your people, because you don't want to lose them because they're not hitting their sales targets. You don't want them bored, and you want to make sure you're skilling them to the future call mix.
Okay, so do you think it's top of mind for them to upskill their workforce? Or is that something that they're not even really thinking about right now? They're just like worried about the low sales volume.
This came directly.
The low call volume.
Yeah, I think there's the first thing that came out of the discussion of the people that were talking about this was, is everybody else seeing the same thing I'm seeing, that the sales call volume is down? So my first question was, now, is it going to self-service? It's not, revenue is not down. It's just your mix is down. So as the business, the first thing you do is check that their RevPAR, or the revenue per available room, is not dropping, because that's a different problem. But if you truly think it's channel shift and it's just you're getting more service calls rather than sales calls, then there's things you need to do, because you're going to lose your people. If you don't upskill them and train them for the future, they're going to quit and go somewhere else. You need to readjust, and that's the whole rewrite your playbook, because you also need to make sure that you're incenting the right things, and you have to change your operating practices. You need to change your workforce, your hiring strategy. There's all these different elements that you need to pull these triggers, not to tank, because contact centers, they've said for years, are going out and they're going to lose to AI. But there's
Perfect.
still people that, yeah.
All of those details you're going to teach them in the masterclass. Love it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is their intended result once they're done with with the masterclass with you? What do you want them thinking about? You want them thinking, great, she's going to help me upskill my workforce. Great, she's going to help us build revenue and bring revenue up 10% per month. Or for the year. Great, she's going to help us with what, right? So what's already keeping them up at night? Because they already know that the sales call volume is drying up. But
Right.
what is, if that's drying up, what is it that they want to do? What's the intended, right? Because they don't know about all the details that you're telling me, right? The upskilling your workforce and like those details. So that's the how. But what is it that they would already know that they want as a result from the pain point?
I would say gained efficiency and future proofing your workforce for
Beautiful.
what's coming.
I'm typing in the are there other people other than travel contact center directors that you want at this masterclass, or really just that the people with that title?
I mean, it could be others with, it's not necessarily just that title, but that industry is of travel contact centers. It could be directors, managers,
Perfect.
whatever, but it's not necessarily just directors, but
Okay.
professionals.
So
Maybe it's just,
what do you
yeah,
think, what do you think of this? So future proofing your workforce, colon, a masterclass for travel contact centers.
yeah, I could see that.
Okay, because remember, we just want it needs to be obvious what your title is about, and then in your description, you can write a lot more, right? But
Right.
leave this as the intro. So what you have for the description there, I wouldn't mess with that, leave that, and then add more if you want. But the way that's written is so clear and so obvious to people, right? Which is why it's part of your socials, that when they get to this, it needs to be congruent with what they saw on LinkedIn and any of your social.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So future proof. So this is the title, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
It's my suggestion for one of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Like, is it correct? I have no clue, right? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
run multiple. By the time they get to the form, they're already interested, right?
Yeah.
Right. But we do need to make it clear who is this for, because you don't want random people who like it's, you need to make it clear who it's for. That's for contact center.
Dang it. Why won't it let me delete? Oh, there it is. There it did.
Oh yeah, you just push enter. Yeah.
Okay. I hadn't done that yet. Okay. Masterclass for contact center leaders. So that's who. Okay. Dot, 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 dot. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I
So
think
that
I think that's
masterclass.
good for right now. I may tweak it when I get closer, but this
Exactly,
helps.
right? So here's where you put your forms. And just so I know which account, which Gmail account are you creating this from? Because this will matter what settings you have set up.
This is
Your
it's
Gmail.
on my Gmail.
Okay, perfect.
It's not on a business one. It's on my Gmail.
Okay, perfect. It's actually a lot easier, and that's why I had to ask, just so that you would.
Yeah.
So let's make sure your form is
This is
titled.
the one I use for my business, but the email address is my Gmail one here.
Okay, perfect. So that'll make the settings a lot easier. So go ahead and click up on settings before I forget on some of these things. So settings, we want to make go ahead and click on the responses little arrow. So I usually don't care about collecting email addresses. I always ask them to put in their email address instead of having Gmail do it, because it gets a little bit complicated, because sometimes it forces a specific email that they don't want.
Okay.
Send responders a copy of the response. I like to turn that. Oh, that one requires collect email addresses. So you can select that one on either way. I always send them emails afterwards. I always allow response editing. So if you want to toggle that over.
Okay. But so I want to collect email addresses, but I don't need to do that here.
Correct. We need to do a form separately. You can do it there and ask them separately. I just find it to be sort of like double duty.
Okay.
Presentation.
All right.
Manage
Send responders a copy of their responses. That's not necessary, right?
No, because they're just doing a quick registration.
Yeah.
Form defaults, settings applied to this form and new forms, question default, settings applied to new questions. You can see what's down. It's okay. So let's go up to responses up at the top next to questions. All the way. There you go.
There.
Perfect. So here, if you click on those three little dots, perfect. So get email notifications for new responses. It took me 7 years to figure that out. I don't know why they put it there and why it's not like a default thing, because I was like, oh, nobody's registering. And then I looked and I was like, oh my God. Right. So have you used forms before and have seen how the spreadsheet looks once people fill it out?
Yes, and
Okay.
I've done benchmark surveys on Google Forms, not
Okay.
in this account, but on a different account. So it was like 50 questions, and so I'm familiar with how those come in, because then I had to analyze all those and sort the benchmarking survey. So
Perfect. Awesome. There you go. Okay, so that's always a big thing, is making sure you can get those emails. So now we can go over to your questions, and here's where you want to go ahead and type at the top. There you go, untitled question, and you start there. So I'll let you
what,
fill
I
this
mean,
out.
is it like their name,
Correct.
company?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So do you
Would you,
want first name, last name? So if you want first name, last name, you either do full name or literally type first name and then last name. I like to do first name in a separate box, last name, because that way it comes onto my Google spreadsheet already in a separate column. Then I don't have to separate it.
gotcha.
Yeah. So in there, I would just duplicate that. So that the little button, there you go, next to the trash can. And then that's just last name. It's just less work on the back end afterwards.
Oh, okay. And I can reorder them as well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I want to know, I think when I start, I'll probably create a poll first for people to do. Is your revenue or your sales volume up, down, flat, or other or whatever? So I think I'll do that on the call, so then they can all see that people who are on are in their same boat or not, or kind of where they're at.
Yeah. You can make that poll in here if you want as well, and then do that live so that they all see, because that way
So
you
they
have
can see. Oh, so I can ask that question and just
uh-huh.
do it. Okay. Um,
So go over where it says short answer over to the right.
yeah,
So
change that to a
yeah,
multiple choice.
yeah, or check boxes depending on um or drop down. So do you want them to select just one thing, or do you want them to select more than
I
one thing?
wanted them to select just one. Is
Perfect.
it up? Is it down?
I think drop down works better if it's just the one thing.
Okay. Drop down. Other would be like volatile. It's up and down. It's all over the place. So,
Okay. Do you want to put volatile
um, yeah, because I can't figure what else
or
because I'm thinking,
intermittent? Are you thinking about intermittent?
yeah, it's
Or you could just put
that's what that's why I would just put other, because they may. uh, Up, down, up, flat, other. No, I think that's fine.
perfect.
Okay.
So before we forget, something very important on here right now, there you go. And right now, everything is optional, so we need to make them all required. And
Yeah.
the first one required. Perfect. because or else if it's not required, people won't fill it out.
No. Okay, so now down here. And then, okay. If I want to add another question, then I come over here, right?
Yeah, or you just duplicate,
Or
depending,
duplicate. Yeah, I could have done that too.
whichever one's easier. I'd like to.
So this one, I'm going to go back to freeform, which is short answer. Well, short answer just gives them a little bit of space, right?
Yeah, depending on, well, what's your question gonna be there?
Because the question I was going to ask is, um, what topics would you like covered in this, regarding call volume or strategy? But maybe I don't ask that question because I'm structuring it a little bit more than I was going to.
That's
So,
okay. I think you ask that question and give people check boxes and you give them options instead of freeform. Freeform is a little bit too much pressure for
okay,
people to like then do the work for us. So if you give them that plus other and then let them describe the other as well. So instead of multiple choice, you do check boxes.
okay. Then on other, is there a way for me to let them expand on the other?
Yes, not on drop down, but there is on the multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
Or
Okay,
like, sorry,
because
not
this one I think I'm fine. I think other is just
that. I think that one's good the way it is, but over here where you actually want some more details, we want it to be check boxes. So not multiple choice. We want, yeah, check boxes. So they can, because it's up a
they may
little.
have more than one answer.
Yeah. I've never done a checkbox grid. I'm not sure you want a checkbox grid. That's rows and columns that gets, we want just check boxes. Just interested in learning. Yeah. Right. So go ahead and change the checkbox grid to check boxes. So it's right below multiple choice. Up, up, up.
Oh,
Right.
check
Yeah,
boxes.
correct. Yep.
Okay,
So now
got
it's
it.
going to be actual, yeah. So make these, you can make them very specific or more general.
Right. Toying with how to word these. I may come back to this. I'm just gonna put a placeholder in here right now. Um, These are kind of placeholders.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But that's, I know, and I think I do want it kind of general, but it's the elements that I'm going to include. But I may, the way I order them or the way I emphasis I put on them during the class might shift. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and hit the other, because then that one will let them actually fill it out.
Yeah. Perfect.
Mhm.
All right. And then do I want that required?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why we want to give them some options versus an open box is a little too much pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, though, I would like to add one question that has to do with, and it's just asking, what's your biggest pain point in the contact center right now? Because that's going to help me with future classes. But do I ask that at the beginning, or do I add that to another form I ask them to do at the end as far as a rating sheet?
No, I think now is a good time. You can always like find out more after the master class, but I think that's a good thing to add now.
Well, I'm thinking for lead gen, especially if they've got a pain point that they're trying to solve. One, it helps me develop more content, more classes, more relevant what's going on with them.
Exactly.
Okay, and that one I would leave
I
open,
think that way you
right?
can leave a short answer. Yeah.
Okay, because they could give me a title and I can expand on it if need be.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
I may reword that one too. Because I don't think I need pain point and challenge.
We probably wouldn't do and.
Yeah.
And that one you can leave optional if you want.
Yeah, I think I will. I think
Yeah.
I will because
I think
if
that's a good one to leave optional.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So if they add something, great. If they don't, great. Okay, so
I would
there's
also
my
capture
question.
their phone number.
Oh, good idea.
Mhm.
I'll go down here and add it and then I'll move it because I might want to move something else anyway.
Yeah, because we can't really rely on just email. This is too important
No,
to email.
okay, I want to move. Okay, to move it, I just drag, right?
Yes, because we got the. There you go. I'll make phone number required.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. So for me creating this and then I can title it,
I think if you just click in there, it'll do the same title as, there we go.
yeah, does that. And the one thing I love about Google is you don't have to save. It just automatically saves them. I love that. It's one of my favorite features.
I do recommend that you change the coloring a little bit, so the theme, and then we can add an image on the top. So if you go
Okay.
for, so on the purple side, there you go, customize theme. So make it something that's a little bit more corporate, that looks a little bit better. The light purple seems a little bit too playful, too fun.
Yeah,
A little bit more
exactly.
serious. Looks like they have some images there. So this is where Canva will come into play. And that image that you already have for your socials, and I would spread that across the other way. And
Yeah.
make
Well,
it, so the settings here are a little bit wonky. But Canva has it set up for Google Forms as well. So they have templates.
and granted, I'll adjust it, but hey, I have to tell you, have you ever used AI to create um
That one on the left might work well. Right.
this one?
From those three that you have on the right, that one, sorry.
On the
So
right?
those two on the right are too high horizontal. That one right there might.
See, this one I tried to make it for Kajabi. I was trying to create one. Let me click on it to change the words, but
there you go. It shows up.
it
So
does.
yeah, so if you do done there, it'll just grab what it's showing up, and then you're all done.
So that's my because I tried to do this to go with in Kajabi, but it wasn't working right. So let me do
Yeah,
that.
no, Kajabi works great for classes, but there you go. Look at how professional that is. So it's already a killer landing page.
Cool. And then so this can be my landing page for registration. So to get the link from here, okay, let me go back. So okay, so now I just grab this link. Okay, it says I can share it, but it's not.
Right. So from there, you don't want to share from there for people. So you can go back to either double click there or go to your tab at the top because you have it open already. So now to send it, that big purple button on the right.
Yeah.
You want to send that. You never want to send that from the URL of the people make this mistake a lot. So I said, okay, got it. Okay, because that URL is your editing. Right? You don't want them to go to the edit. That's weird. Why is it stuck?
If I'd want to send it here, and then I'd put in either the email, but see, how do I use this in Zoom?
I got you. So, so you're not going to use this in Zoom, right? You're sending this so that people can sign up for Zoom.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So go up to the top. See the little envelope right next to it is a link.
Yep. Oh, there it is.
Click on that. Yep. And then you're going to shorten URL. And then you can either send that directly, put that directly on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn will create their own link, or which is actually how I recommend you do it on LinkedIn, or when you send out emails, then you can just hyperlink the link.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was going on. How do okay, so that's how I would grab this.
So go ahead and grab, copy that and put it in the chat for us. I should be able to pull it up on my end.
Okay.
That'll be the moment of truth. All right, so I'm clicking on it now. And then I'll show everyone how it shows, how it looks on my end. So let's see the beautiful form you just created. Ta-da! Congratulations. Look at how pretty that is.
My reg form. Cool.
Your reg form is done. Look at how the drop down looks.
Excellent. Now granted, I know I gotta check my Zoom. How much space or how many people can I have in a Zoom room? I think I'm unlimited.
I think up to 50. And then after that, you have to run a webinar or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Suspect you'll have that many.
Limited. That's why I was trying to limit it. So I'm not gonna, especially for this first one.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm gonna be grateful if 4 or 5 people show up.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be too worried. You have the pro version of Zoom, correct?
I do.
Okay, yeah, then you're fine. I've had up to 30 on there on just like the one above the free and perfectly fine. Yeah.
Cool. What other classes do you have coming up, or do you not know?
I actually just got notification today. Let me pull those up for you because they told me yesterday.
I love your style of classes so much.
I'm glad. Yay. Thank you. That means a lot.
I've taken some of the other ones through Do Space, and there's this one chick, she starts and it's, and then she goes through a PowerPoint, boom, 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 talks for an hour. Yeah, and then she says, do you have any questions? And it's so distracting. So then it's like, so when I ask a question, and then she's totally stumped by the question, it was just like, I really hadn't thought of that. And then she realized after the question that she had forgot to show us something that was very important, but anyway, I like yours much. I learn by doing and discussing, and I just find you very just engaging. So
Oh, thank you, lovely. This is how I like to learn. So I know everyone has different learning and different teaching styles. So I like to teach the way I like to learn, and we're all different. So I'm glad that we were able to connect. Let's see. On May 1st, I'm going to be teaching ChatGPT marketing sessions again. You already got most of that covered, but you're welcome to come and ask anything. It's more advanced, or we can work on something specific. And then on the 17th, I am setting up, showing everyone how to do Doc Hub. So this is where you can have contracts for your people, especially with your consultation side, where your clients will sign. Have you heard of DocuSign?
DocuSign, yeah.
Okay, so Doc Hub is the free or minimally like efficiently priced one. DocuSign is really expensive. Doc Hub works directly with all of your Google Drive. So I'm going to be running that session.
Okay.
So you can write contracts and walk you through how to actually send out signatures and stuff. It's amazing. That's how I run all of my contracts with all my clients. And then on the 20th, I'm running a Wix.com. Have you ever been to any of my website teaching ones?
I have not. I'm on like GoDaddy, and I need work on my website.
Okay, so I'm teaching a Wix.com on the 20th and then an advanced one on the 29th. So, and by advanced, I mean like just a few steps ahead on how to build out your website on Wix. And so we cover some of that stuff. And if you have some things that you want to cover on your so if you have GoDaddy, the domain, do you know where your website is currently hosted?
Also GoDaddy.
Okay. How is it built? Is it WordPress? Is it?
I think it's WordPress, but I did it on the GoDaddy site myself, so.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know they did that. I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, I built it. I'm pretty sure it was like, I'm familiar with WordPress. I've heard the word Wix and stuff like that. I thought about going that way, but I just went with GoDaddy and I built it right in there. But there are some things that I couldn't figure out how to do that I still haven't done. So I was either going to request some help from my IT guy who does other of my web work for some of my clients. or learn it myself. So
Perfect.
you don't teach any Adobe classes, do you?
I'm not an Adobe expert, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm good at Canva
Love
though.
Canva. And I've attended some of your Canva classes too, and I learn stuff every time I talk to you, even if
Oh,
so,
good.
no. So,
I'm glad. I'm happy to hear. Yeah, if you want to come to any of the Wix classes, well, ideally the first one, because you can build out everything for free. And if you love it, and then you're like, hey, I'd rather just switch my domain. You can keep your domain in GoDaddy, but like put it into Wix and then point it over there. And you can just do a DNS transfer. So that part is, that's where we would need your IT team, because I don't handle the technical backend on those calls. But we
yeah,
can build out your brand new website for free on Wix. And
yeah,
you'd be surprised the functionality on there. It's pretty amazing.
perfect, perfect. I probably will. I'll take a look for those.
Alrighty then.
Thank you so much,
You're
Tammy.
welcome, Denise. I hope that was helpful. And now you have an official registration form. So
Yeah, and
yay. Oh, we do want to put the date on there, right? We forgot the date on the form. But once you decide on the date, maybe you already have that.
planned that form, but thank you for reminding me. So
Yes.
that's,
So I was like, wait, we're missing an important element.
yeah, so it'll probably be next week is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then, but once I get my registrations in, that's where I would then manually send them a Zoom invite.
Yes. And I'm assuming you'll probably have like maybe like 10 to 12 people, or maybe a little bit less than that. If this was going to be hundreds at a time, then we would need to worry about something that's automated. But, if it's like 10 to 12, you can send out individual messages.
Yeah, and this is my first one, and I'm just really, I'm gonna, I mean, if people don't sign up on their own, then I'm gonna tap my internal contacts of, hey, I know this is important to you. Please join and help practice with me.
Yes. And I also teach Stripe classes, but DoSpace hasn't picked that one yet. So just check this out. Check out a YouTube video on stripe.com. It's encrypted. It's super easy to create like an individual checkout page for people to like sign up for whatever it is that you're doing. You can send them an immediate email invoice. They can pay via wire transfer, the credit card, debit card, whatever. And it's very well known in most industries now. So
Okay.
I highly recommend you have an easy way for people to be able to pay you, and you can send them email invoice. And
Does
it just makes your life a lot easier.
Venmo, does Stripe work with Venmo?
Good question. Moving forward, I don't recommend you use Venmo for any of your client dealings, because it stops being professional, right? So for personal reasons, you can use Venmo, but once you're going into the business realm, especially with contact centers, Venmo is not going to cut it, because you can't invoice.
Oh, good point. Good
Yeah.
point.
So you need to be able to track your business accordingly, and Stripe will keep everything into one account. You do need, I was going to say you need a business bank account, but no, you don't. You can have it on whatever account you want.
Yeah, I have that already, but so I have a business bank account, but like with Venmo, I've only used it with one client.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a friend who I was doing some stuff for anyway, so I think that was still okay. But
Yeah.
I pay my consultants with Venmo, and they're young kids, and that's how they prefer to be paid, rather than me sending them a check or whatever. They oh, just Venmo me, that's fine. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
that
I picked on my contractors. We have Venmo too, because it's just easier, like my podcast editor.
yeah,
But when it comes to you doing business with these larger companies, Venmo
yes,
is out. You're gonna need Stripe.
good, good point.
Yeah,
Stripe. That sounds like a good plan. And if you're teaching one of those classes, I'd love to. I'll go take the tutorial. But if DoSpace picks it up, I'll jump on that as well.
perfect. You can always email them or send them a quick note on registration or wherever on their website and say, hey, Emmy mentioned that she can teach a Stripe class. Can you put that on the calendar for the next, like, put it on the calendar soon or something like that? Because I don't select which ones they pick. They pick them out depending on whether people are asking for them or they think that someone is interested in it. So unless you ask for it, because I have a list of 20 topics they can pick from, so it's a lot. And I only do like 3 or 4 classes a month. So sometimes they pick the same one, sometimes they cycle through. So they're trying to if the business owners aren't asking for something specific, they don't know what to have me teach.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get more vocal because there's some things that I want, and that's one of them. And I would love some Adobe classes as well, so.
Yes, they love it. If you have specific requests, they will go find people in certain areas that are experts in that.
Gotcha. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. It's been a
You're
pleasure.
welcome. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.